All right, welcome everybody to Buy Local NJ. It's Chris and Andy, and today we're joined by our special guest, Jade Glab, Miss New Jersey 2019 to 2020, the longest running Miss New Jersey of all time. Welcome, Jade. We're very excited to have you. We just shot 3 episodes in your hometown of Belmar, New Jersey, with 3 great businesses, and those episodes will be rolled out very soon. As part of your campaign to run for Miss New Jersey USA, one of your big platforms is Asian advocacy, and we're excited to talk about that today. Even though it's a very serious issue, but it's very close to home for all of us.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you for having me on the show, both in this respect and being able to talk about the violence against Asian Americans that's been happening, but also to promote what you guys like to promote, which is small businesses. Like Chris mentioned, I recently filmed a couple different episodes within my hometown of Belmar. We filmed at a couple of different food places. So if you recognize them, then be sure to give them a shout out on social media. But today we're here to talk about the violence against Asian Americans. And we're actually filming this episode on the 1-year anniversary of the Atlanta spa shootings, where 6 Asian women were unfortunately murdered. And so I'm really happy to be able to be here and discuss the violence going on, get people more aware of what's going on, because this is a serious issue that's been only been increasing since the start of the pandemic. In fact, hate crimes against Asian Americans have gone up 342% since 2020. And to me, that's cause for something to be done about this. We'll figure out how to make an impact, and then also if there's any action we can take, definitely want to be able to discuss that today.
Yeah, and I think you can't, I think the Asian community, we can't just let all these instances go unheard. I mean, I think it's good that the media covers some of it, but I think with Russia in the headlines, with COVID in the headlines, many of these stories aren't covered at all. I think if you go to like StopAsianHate, people should report any instances that happen to them, whether it's verbal assault or physical assault, because there has to be a record of all these events. Otherwise, the government just never knows what's going on, basically.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I really hope to do if crowned Miss New Jersey USA 2022 is bring awareness to these issues that are happening. Every time someone has a story, I want the media to hear about it. I want the public to be informed about it. So not only for their own safety, but for the safety of just everyone. Everyone deserves to be safe. I want to make sure that we're drawing enough awareness to this issue so that way our government leaders know that they need to strengthen civil rights protections and make sure that perpetrators are prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Yeah, I think it's really good and important to have Asian history, really Asian American history, taught in school. I think that many people don't realize that there was a Chinese Exclusion Act in 1882, which was a federal law. It was the first and only major federal legislation that explicitly suspended immigration for a specific nationality. So it's important to recognize that part of American history, and I think it does play a role in how Asians are seen and treated. Hopefully the more we learn about history, we can avoid making the same mistakes again.
And as someone who took history, I know I learned a lot about European history. I learned about Black history. So I really do think it's important to learn about all Americans' history, because America really is a melting pot. And I consider myself to be a representative of that melting pot, coming from multiple different racial groups. And I definitely would just sort of like to learn about who am I, where do I come from, and how am I just as American as anyone else. In addition to this, I also wanted to talk a little bit about an exciting partnership that we have for Buy Local. I actually partnered with Flair. We were able to work on the Violence Against Women Act, getting it to sort of, I'm trying to think of the right word for this, but recircle and be reapproved. And so I partnered with Flair. They're a Bluetooth enabled safety bracelet. It looks like this. I wear one all the time. And this is also just part of the safety measures that I'm able to do to sort of protect myself in all instances and make sure that I'm safe at all times. It features a button on the bracelet, which means that if I'm ever in trouble ever in a bad situation, I can press that button. It'll send my location out to friends that I've programmed within the app on my phone, and also can potentially just get me out of a bad situation. It can contact the police. They were a time-best invention in 2020, and I just really think it's important for women, not even just women, they have all gender bracelets, which I think is super cool. They did not have that when I started partnering with them in 2021. They recently launched these bracelets, but I think it's important just to take proper security measures. I was in martial arts as a kid. Ever since I was 5 years old, my father feared for my safety as a woman, and now as an Asian American woman living alone in the District of Columbia, in our nation's capital, taking those self-defense courses, getting the mental and emotional support that's needed, and also carrying pepper spray is really important. But again, sort of because this is a really disturbing topic and something that is important to consider the emotional aspect to it, I wanted to talk a little bit about a couple of resources that one can potentially consult if they feel they need to, or they need that emotional support in this difficult time in discussing these hard to talk about topics. So the first one is the Asian Mental Health Collective. I was able to connect with them over the last few months. I actually now volunteer for them. And every so often we host virtual roundtables, we host virtual conferences to really rally the Asian community, bring them together, and just there's a power in uniting us, uniting our voices, uniting our culture, and just getting that message out there that it's important to sort of stand up for each other. So that's been an incredible resource that I highly recommend you check out. They are at Asian Mental Health Collective on Instagram, no caps, no spaces. And also Soar Over Hate, which is the organization that provided the pepper sprays to hundreds of women in New York City over the past weekend. They also provide emotional support, and I definitely urge you to check them out on Instagram as well.
Thank you so much for leading us on this conversation, that is so important.
One last thing is there is a discount code that I was able to arrange for us. The discount code for Flair, it's a 20% discount code just to share with everyone. It's Buy Local NJ, no caps, no spaces.
That's awesome. And it's a
Fantastic.
New Jersey company, which we love.
New Jersey company, yes. They're based right in Ocean County, which I think is really cool. Support small business, support Asian Americans. I think it's a really important time to be talking about a lot of these issues, and I really hope to be able to talk more about them in my future career, if not as Miss New Jersey USA, as the future business strategist that I'm bound to become.
Jade, tell everyone where they can follow you so that they can help out.
Yes. So I am Jade Lynn Glab on Instagram. So JadeLinGlab, no caps, no spaces.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you so much. And I hope you all have a great rest of your day.